Hey, hi guys, this is Bakkappa. Welcome back to Selenium C Sharp.net and Unit tutorial. Let us jump to the high level agenda for the today's Selenium C Sharp tutorial. First, we'll see how to download and install extend report. Then we'll see how to create a logs in by using the extend reports. Then we'll see how to use try, catch, and finally blocks to handle the exceptions. Then we'll see how to write exception details into the extend report. Then we will create a sample Selenium C Sharp script and we will demonstrate all the mentioned above stuffs. Then finally I have one assignment. So let us jump to the Visual Studio. So first I will create a sample class here. Here I am specifying the class name as Selenium. Selenium C Sharp tutorial 5. So click on add button. So that's it. I will surround this particular class with the test fixature. Then after that I'll make this class as a public. So that's it. Just you need to import the related packages. That's all. So first we'll see how to download and install the extend report. Click on the references on the project. Then you will see the manage NuGet packages. Then here you search with the, make sure that you are in browse tab. So here you need to search with the extend reports. Once you've done that, select the first one. Here you can select the version which you want, but in my case I will install 3.1.2. So after that you need to click on install button. So click on I accept button. Once that particular extend report is got added, you will be seeing in the right side of your project in the hierarchy. So if you look at here, this particular XML file be appearing in your project once it is got downloaded properly. That's it at downloading part and installation. So I'll go to the previous Selenium C Sharp tutorial. Here we have created a simple automation script. So just I will copy the same automation script. And I will paste it here. So here I'm going to delete all these three attributes. Just I need only test attribute. So I'll delete this particular argument also. Then I need to import the related packages for WebDriver. That's it. For Chrome driver also we need to download the related packages. That's it. Just click, if you don't know how to import the packages, just click on that and press Ctrl dot from the keyboard. Sorry. So this is the argument we have got. So I'm deleting that one. So I will just uncomment this particular line. Let me delete this line also. That's it. So let me delete this particular 4 lines of code to capture the screenshot what we have discussed in Selenium C# previous video tutorial. That's it. Let me explain you what exactly this particular script contains. So first we have surrounded this particular script with the try and catch block. So any exception occurred in the try block, so it will be catched by the catch block, and after that this finally block will be getting executed. So let me explain you each of the lines. This particular line will be creating the Chrome browser object, then it maximizes the Chrome browser. Second line, in the third line we are entering the facebook.com. In the fourth line we are identifying the email text field, that is this particular text field. If you inspect this particular email text box, so if we copy this particular XPath, that should be highlighting that particular text box. If you look at here, 1 of 1, it is matching to this particular text box. That's it. By using the send keys, we are entering Selenium C# into this particular email text box field. Then we are simply closing the browser. So say for example, if any error occurred in this particular statement, if for identifying this particular email text field, so suddenly from this line it will jump to this catch block. So it will execute all these statements. Then in the final block it will checks if browser is whatever the browser value is not null, then it will close the browser. If it is open, then only this particular driver.quit method will be getting executed. So let us run this particular script and we will discuss how to use extend report in script. Let me run this particular simple script and we will move on to the extend reports. Just I'm rebuilding the solution. So here it is expecting one more close parenthesis. That's it. One more time, rebuild this particular solution. That's it. So I'm running this particular script from this particular class, that is Selenium C# tutorial 5. So here we can see only one test under the Selenium C# tutorial 5. So right click on that, just say run selected test. It is opened the browser, then it has to enter the facebook.com. Yes, it has entered the facebook.com. Then it is entering the some values into that particular email field, is Selenium C#, and then it is closing the browser. So now this time there are no errors, so it is not going to the catch block and it is going to the final block, but it is already browser, it is closed, so that's the reason this particular statement is not got executed. So for extend report, see, whenever now that particular extend report, it should be running before running any of the test scripts. So that's the reason I'll be using two attribute methods, that is called OneTime Setup and OneTime Teardown. So that before running any of the test scripts in this particular class, that particular set of statements will be getting executed, so that it can create the extend report in the format of HTML report. Once it is executed all the test scripts in that particular class, so that it can close the connection to the HTML report. So that's the reason here I'm defining the one-time setup method and one-time teardown method. So let us create the one-time setup method. Public void. Here I'm just mentioning the name of the method as extend start. So in the same way I will create one more method called extend close. That's it. So I'll surround this particular method with attribute called one-time setup. That's it. And I'll surround this particular extend close with the one-time teardown. That's it. So whatever the lines you are writing under the one-time setup, so this particular method will be getting executed before running any of the test scripts from this particular class. So what we need to do is just I'll copy the set of lines from the text file. So I will explain you each of the lines what they are doing. So that's it. So I will create extend reports object reference variable as a global here. Before that we need to import two packages. That is, first one is using event stack dot extend reports, first one, and next one is using event stack dot extend reports dot reporter, sorry. These two packages you have to import to create a extend reports. So now there are no errors for extend reports. So that's it. So let me explain you what this particular one-time setup method is doing here. First I have created the object of the extend reports. Then I have created one more object called extend HTML reporter. So if you see the argument of this extend HTML reporter, just it is a path where exactly you want to store that particular HTML file. So let me delete this particular path. So we'll create one more folder under the our project. So I'm adding one folder called extend reports. So we'll give this particular path to store all the HTML reports. Just say open folder in file explorer. So take this entire path and you need to mention the name of the file. So what exactly that particular HTML format name of that particular file story. So in my case I will give the class name, or you can give this particular namespace name. So I'll give the class name itself dot HTML. It should be always in the format of .html. So that's it. So this particular object, that is HTML reporter, contains the path of the file where exactly you want to store the HTML extend report. Then I'm passing that into the this particular attach reporter. Here I'm passing the HTML reporter that contains the path where exactly you want to store the extent reports in the format of HTML. That's it. So first extent reports, I have created the object of the extent reports. By using this particular object, I'm calling to the one method called attach reporter. So that takes the argument of extent HTML reporter. This particular extent HTML reporter accepts the argument of file path. If you look at here, extent HTML format, it is accepting the file path where exactly you want to store that particular extent report. That's it. This is 3 lines of code for the extent report to create the in particular location. That's it. When you come to the one-time teardown method, so just you need to close the connection to the HTML format. I mean the extent reports in the format of HTML. So what you need to do is you need to use this particular extent report reference variable. Just you need to, for closing, you need to call one method called flush. So this closes all the connection to the extent reports. That's all from the setup part. So this particular method will be getting executed only one time before running any of the test script from this particular class. Once it is executed all the test methods, then this particular one-time teardown will be getting executed. So it will close all the connection to the extent reports. So that's it. That's it from the setup part. So now you have to write few lines in the test scripts so that you can create a logs in the HTML report. So before launching the web browser, what you have to do is, here you need to use the object of the extent report, and you need to call one method called create test. If you look at create test, it is accepting the string type of arguments. So what I'll do is, this is nothing but your test name. So here I'm hard coding this particular test one into the create test. So after that I will call to the one more method called info. This accepts the string argument. If you look at here, it is accepting the string type of arguments. What here I'll specify is, simply I will write test started. That's it. So basically this create test, it will start logging logs into that particular extent report. So if you see this particular create test, it is returning you the type of value is extent test. So you need to store that into the extent test. So here I'll write test is equal to this particular create test, and whenever this particular test is started running, so this particular message will be logged in the extent reports. That's it. So in the catch statement, what I will do is, so let us instead of going to the catch block, first we will write a logs into the extent report by using this particular test object. So I will create this as a global variable because we need to use this particular test object into the catch block also. So that's the reason I'm using this extent test as the global variable here. So I'll assign this value to particular test variable is null. Then I will delete this extent test in line number 40. That's it. So now the part is we have started our test by creating the object of extend test, and we have called one method called create test. So here we have specified the name of the test method. Then we have passed some information before starting our test, that is into the extend report. So what I will do is, by using this particular extend test or reference variable, I'll press dot, then log. Under this, you need to specify the what status you want to log. So here I'm specifying the status dot. You can log this particular status as pass, error, fail, fatal, or info, or pass, or skip, warning. Like that, you can specify the status into the extend reports. So in my case, what I will do is just it is a step passed or fail. So here I'm writing the information into the extend report. What I will do is here I will write a log into that extend report saying that Chrome browser launched. That's it. Once this particular Chrome browser is launched and it maximized, this particular line will be printed in the extend reports. So that's it. In the same way, I will copy this particular test.log line. Then I will paste it at the, after entering some text into the this email text box. That is, after entering this particular text into this particular email text box, I'm writing one more log called here I'm email ID entered. So that's it. Then finally, before closing the browser, what I will do is I will log test.log. So I need to say this particular test got passed. So that's the reason I'm specifying status as pass. So after that, you can specify the string. You can specify that this particular method, test1 method, passed. So once it is reached, if it is able to execute all these lines of test scripts, that means that particular test script got passed. So it is going to close the web browser. So after closing the web browser itself, we can write this particular line into the extend report to make sure that this particular test got passed. So here I'm just copying this particular line. Let me cut this particular line and I'll paste it above this line. So this line, it shows the pass status in the extend report because I have passed here it as a pass after the status dot pass. So that's it. So now there are no errors. You don't see any errors in the extend report, but you should be able to see this particular information. Before launching our browser, this particular message will be printing over there in the logs. Then second step is Chrome browser launched, and the third step is email ID entered. So let us rebuild this particular solution. So first I will clean this particular solution. Then I will rebuild this solution. So under Selenium C# tutorial 5, so I'm running test 1. It has launched the web browser, then it has maximized it. A little bit slowness in the internet connection, so that's the reason it is taking time. So it is suddenly entering that this particular text and it is simply closing the web browser. So this time my test is got passed. If we go to the extend reports, right click on that extend report folder and go to the open folder in open folder in file explorer. If you see here, name of the file is Selenium C Sharp tutorial 5, what we have given in the mentioned in the extend HTML reporter. So in the same name it is printed over there. So if you open this particular HTML report, so this particular test started we have printed over here. We have we are writed into this extend report before starting our browser. So that is the same information is printed over here. Then we have written one more log called Chrome browser launched. So that information it has displayed here. Then one more log we have is email ID enter. After entering the email ID in the text box, this particular string, then we have created one more log called email ID entered. Then simply we are closing the browser. So after that I'm printing this particular test 1 passed. So our test is got passed, so there are no errors. So if you look at here, one test is passed and 0 tests failed. All other information, like we can see only one test present in this particular HTML report. So that's it. So what I will do is I will copy the same test and we will make that particular test into the failed status. We'll make some changes in the this particular web element and we will forcefully we will fail into that particular test. We will make it as a fail, then you will see the report. Just I'm copying this same test. So I'll rename this test 1 with the test 2. That's it. And after that I will make one changes here. Instead of email I will write other value. So after launching the web browser, after entering the URL, it is not able to find this particular web element by using id equal to abcd. So that's the reason this particular this particular line, this test2 method will be getting failed. Then it will enter into the catch block. Then after that it is going to execute the finally block. So after going to the catch block, we need to catch it and we need to make this particular test into the failed status. So that's the reason what you need to do is you need to use the test object, that is this particular extend test. Hey guys, sorry for the background noise. So I will use the test object, extend test object, then I'll say log. Instead of pass I will say status dot fail I will say, because after getting exception in the try block then only it will come to the catch block. That's the reason, to make sure that it is we have some errors in the exceptions in the try block. So that's the reason it is coming to the catch block. That means that particular test script is not getting executed properly. So here I'm creating the log as status as fail. Then I will use the reference of the exception e dot to string. So this prints all the information about the exception. So that's it. So we have added only one line in the catch block so that it can print fail status in the extend report, and it will print the all the exception information, that is a runtime exception information. So let us rebuild this particular solution. I will run all the test script under the Selenium C tutorial 5. So first test 1 will be getting executed properly, then second test will be getting failed because of not able to identify such elements, because what we have specified XPath is wrong. This is the first test, it is getting executed. Now second test will be running. It is taking little more time because we have a internet connection as a slow, so that's the reason. So now this time it is not able to identify this particular test. If you click on this particular test, here message you are getting, message open QA dot selenium, no such element exception, no such element exception, unable to locate element, so blah blah blah. So if I go to this particular extend report folder, open folder in file explorer, if you see here, this is the latest update, what it has updated 1041. If you open this particular HTML report, test 1 got is passed. I mean, in the test 2 we have not renamed this particular test. So that how you can do is, you need to mention this in the while creating a test, so that should be 0 2, so that you can do it at your end. So if you look at here, it has launched the web browser, Chrome browser, it has launched the web browser, then you can see all the error information what we have seen in the User Studio. So all this information, exception information, is printed over here. So you can add multiple tests and you can try it at your end. So if you, this is a test, under test you will be listing all n number of tests which is there while executing in the class, and this is a pass rate and a fail rate. If you click on this particular instance, so here you will be seeing total how many tests are executed, how many steps got executed, then start time and end time. This is the start time and this is the end time. So total how much time it has taken to execute all this particular script, total number of test scripts. So that is it at extend report side. I think I have covered almost all the topics. So first I have covered how to download and install extend report. Then we know how to create a logs, I mean how to write a logs into the extend report. Then we have discussed try, catch block and finally block. Then how to write exception details into the extend reports, that is by using the exception dot toString. So in the try block, whatever the exception occurred, that comes into the catch block. In the catch block we have printed that particular information by using the test.log. Under that we have written exception dot toString. So this will write all the runtime exception information into the extend report. Then we have created a sample Selenium C# automation script and we have executed it successfully. Now the next part is assignment. What is my assignment is here in the OneTime setup. We have specified this particular name of the extent report file. So this should be dynamic. So based on the class name or namespace name it should take. So runtime, you need to run that particular, you need to give the name of the extent report file name. So this is the first assignment, and the next assignment is this particular test. There are already inbuilt methods available how to get the current running test method name. So you need to make this as a dynamic. Based on the test method name, it should write into the extent reports. So these are the two assignments. You can try at your end and let me know if you find any difficulties in doing that. If you have any queries, you can comment in the comment section of this below video. Also, you can drop me an email to the Gmail ID. In the next Selenium C# .NET NUnit tutorial, we'll be discussing page object model. If you like this video, please click on like and share button below of this video. Thank you so much for watching this Selenium C# tutorial.